Hey y'all, this is Deb, and I am back with a video response to Reading with Miss Roosevelt, the review. The book that we read was called The Accidental Affair by Eric Jerome Dickey, and I'm here to give you guys my review and my take on the book. Now, let me enter a disclaimer here. I haven't read any books by Eric Jerome Dickey in years. So, this was an interesting read for me because his writing style has changed a little bit. Immediately, right off the bat, the book did catch my attention. It starts out with a lot of action with the main character, James, very upset. He's just beat up an actor by the name of Johnny Handsome who had they called it an accidental something else on screen with his wife, the actress Regina Baptiste. So it was really interesting, and I'm just like, I'm thinking, wow, he had just gotten a video of his wife having sex with an actor. And if you are familiar with Eric Jerome Dickey books, he's very detailed and explicit with his sex scene descriptions. So immediately that got my attention, and I'm like, wow, did she really, really for real do that? How did she get so caught up? So of course it had my interest. And then, after reading it some pages in, it slowed down, and I have a hard time staying focused, as you all have seen in some of my videos, and so I kind of lost a little interest in the book. But because I really want to do this and I want this to be a success, I picked it up and I just said, okay, Deborah, read. I made myself read. So as I got back into the book, I started just really paying attention to the different characters and the role that they played in the book, and it was really very interesting. Each individual there played a significant role and part in Varge, because that's what the name he went under when he had to leave for beating up that young man, life at that point. I found that he had sexual encounters with several women, and I think it was retaliation sex. I think it was more hurt sex. I guess he obliged. I don't think he cared anything about any of these women. Well, maybe one. And it, just like Miss Roosevelt said, it appeared that he was having unprotected sex. But I think in one of the particular encounters that he had, I think either the lady or I think he got rid of the condom. That was a one-liner in there that led me to believe that he was having protected sex. I'm going to try to answer a couple of questions that Miss Roosevelt included in her review in the description box. And I'm not going to go in too many details about the book, just in case, any of you decide to read it. But let me get on with this. What character did I like the most and why, and the least and why? So there was a particular character in the book that I just didn't really care for at all, and her name was Vera Ann, I think. And I didn't really care for her character because of the way she carried herself. She was a mom, and I think she had like 3 kids, and she was shacking with this guy that was old enough to be her dad, and she came on to Varge as she knew him because she didn't know him as a famous screenplay movie writer or whatever. And she just was trying to get ahead, and I don't like women like that, and I know that they exist. I mean, some of the situations in the book are real life, and I just did not care for her character. The character that I liked the most was probably James Thick, or Varge as he goes by, his driver, his bodyguard, his personal assistant, friend, whatever you want to call it. He had that man's back regardless. He was like, don't you take care of this, let me take care of this. He didn't want him to get in trouble. He took his job seriously, but I believe he respected him enough to even care for him as a person. So I really, really, really liked his character. I haven't read any of his books. I know Miss Roosevelt indicated that there was a reoccurring character from another book. I don't know if it was Driver or whatever, but he was the one that I really, really liked. Another question she asked was, what major emotion did the story evoke in you as a reader? Well, I don't know how much a major emotion this was, but Regina Baptiste, James's wife, she irritated me. She pissed me off. I was just like, when I was reading that, and I was reading in detail what she did on camera, and all she could think about is not how she hurt him, but him helping her get out of this because her career was going down the toilet. I didn't like her at all. I mean, she just kind of pissed me off. I was just like, really? For real? Really? You know? But then at some point in the book, there was someone that was, you know, any situation you ever said, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall. Well, he used that term in the book, and there was an individual that was the fly on the wall, and she was able to give a different perspective of what happened. I don't think my opinion of her changed really much. The emotion for her went from anger to probably compassion, because I did start to feel sorry for her. And yeah, I really felt bad when I saw that she had been, you know, kind of dogged out. But for the most part, she provoked anger, probably compassion, you know. Yeah, I feel sorry for her. One thing that I would like to say about the book, and I definitely agree with Ms. Roosevelt on this, I could not get a visual on any of the characters. None of them. And I don't know why, because usually I can, and maybe it's because the last book that I read by Eric Jerome Dickey, he was still writing about African American characters, and I'm glad that he can get out there and be so diverse and put out books that everybody can read, because if I can read Danielle Steele books, then, you know, he should put his books out there for any reader to read, regardless of culture, race, background, whatever. I just couldn't get a visual. I couldn't picture how they would look in my mind. Maybe because I didn't have the hardback that maybe would have had a picture on the front, you know, like some of the books that I used to read a long time ago, but I just couldn't get a visual on how any of them looked. None of them. None of the characters. I just couldn't. So that kind of just, you know, was something like, that's strange, but I just really couldn't. Overall, I'm going to give you my whole perspective. It was a really good book. I'm really glad that Ms. Roosevelt selected this book for us to read. Like I said, I hadn't read any of Eric Jerome books in the past, you know, years. I don't want to say how many. And this was a different type of style of writing for him, and it was really pretty decent. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that she caught it, that she selected it. One thing that I want to share with you is that I got caught up. I like the way that he kind of incorporated the social media like Twitter and Facebook all in there, and then in some of the, you know, passages where there was an insert from a particular article, they would have like www whatever the article came from, publication the article came from.com, and I would click it and it would actually take me to that particular website. And yeah, y'all, when you're reading from a Kindle, you can do that on Nook or whatever, and I did get a little caught up. I was thinking that I was going to go actually read more about the story. So yeah, that's how into it I got toward the end. The ending has an interesting twist on it. I think you will kind of be surprised. It was kind of good. I kind of wanted a different ending. But I won't spoil the book if you all hadn't read the book. It was just, I wouldn't have put him back. I just wanted a different ending for it. So anyway, now that we're doing this reading, I think that I'll give my ratings of the books in pages, since we were reading books, pages or whatever, with 5 pages being the highest. I will give this one a 4. Like I said, it did slow down for me a bit, and that's the only reason, but overall it was a really good book. Next, I think Ms. Roosevelt indicated that we would be reading in the month of June, Home by Toni Morrison. Woo, that's going to be hard for me, y'all, because I like to read recreational reading. I just like for them to be light or whatever. Toni is deep. So this is going to be a challenge for me, and I'm glad it's going to broaden my horizons on reading different types of books. I've read some of her books in the past, and she's real deep. I have to really concentrate to stay with her, so this will be interesting. I'm definitely going to download the Kindle. I've already looked it up on Amazon, and I think this one is like $11 or $14 or whatever. It's a little more than the Eric Jerome Dickey book, but I will be reading with her for the month of June. Yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed this review. I hope more of you read with us. Come on and join us. This is kind of cool, so we can do video response reviews or comment reviews in the comment section. So until, you know, maybe we can have fun with this and maybe grow a big online reading club. But anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and until the next page turning review, you guys be blessed. Bye bye.